How to stop being the nice guy. Hey y'all, I am Victor E, and I am here to provide insight to empower, as well as back out of my parking spot here at Target. So, okay, let's state the obvious. What is a nice guy? A nice guy is someone who feels like they can't have direct wants and needs, as well as a people pleaser. So when somebody feels like they can't have direct wants and needs or state them, and they're a people pleaser, well, then they feel like they have to put on this mask in order to have their needs and wants met. This is something that I struggled with for on and off. It's kind of strange. There are some times where I really am in my vibe, in my core self, very unapologetic, bold or brash even. And there are other times, it depends on the person and how. This is, like, I would say, the third part of the nice guy is there's a struggle there with unworthiness. Therefore, they put others on a pedestal, men or women. So let's say for me, I'm a straight guy, I would put women on a pedestal, whatever girl I was attracted to, automatically, because of the way I grew up and my traumas and stuff, I assumed there was inherent unavailability with the object of my affection. And this is something very insidious about the nice guy, is that they don't think or feel, because of their niceness or kindness, they don't feel like they can ever objectify a woman, even though that is a form of objectification, is making someone the receptacle for our affection, our love. Making the turn. So, in a nutshell, that is the nice guy archetype, a personality that a person self-abandons themselves, their core self, and, like water into a cup, they take the shape, their personality takes the shape of, the archetypical nice guy. Again, why? They don't feel like they can outright state their wants and needs directly. Probably in formative moments, they were being themselves, and for one reason or another that is not their fault, the people around them rejected that, shamed that. Likely their parents or siblings projected their own shit onto this individual. That's a very meta way to look at it. So in a nutshell, that's what a nice guy archetype is. And it's very disingenuous. It's manipulative. Why? Because you're putting on a front, you're putting on a mask in order to try to convince others, to try to control the perceptions of another person, of third parties, in order to get what you want from them, or in order to get them to see you in a certain way. That, again, is disingenuous. How do you know it's disingenuous? Is because there is a core feeling, and this is the medium, the filter that we use in order to get those wants and needs met. So now that we know that, well, then what the fuck do? It's not just about stopping being that, or avoiding being that, because that keeps us locked into a relationship with that archetype. So what do? Well, whenever we want to leave a bad habit, we have to form a new one. So it's not just a matter of like running. The way I like to think about it, it's not a matter of running, backwards from something because I'm gonna trip and fall over whatever, the fuck is behind me. Rather turning towards a goal and moving in that direction, knowing that, any archetypal pattern that we've been in the behavior and the pattern of is a well-worn groove, and it can take some time and effort, and especially patience and forgiveness with ourselves to form new grooves away from that. So what is the objective? Or for me, what has been working for me, I heard this recently is, what I heard recently was be shameless in the projection of your personality. Be shameless in the projection of your personality. Now, running in tandem with that, I would say like the seed that got planted before that one, in order for that line to really take root, or maybe that line was part of the same fruit bearing seeds or whatever. It was part of when I was in improv, my teacher, Jimmy Pennington, I'm sure he's seen all types of kind and well-intentioned, nice guy, gal types come through. And so he just knew right away, for so many of us it clicked, was like what he said was, you are free to be your least fuckable self on stage. And I took that and really started having fun with it. But you are free to be your least fuckable self out in the world. Like, you are free to do that, because what is any people-pleasing archetype but a way to feel accepted? And in truth, what are those archetypes but ways to not only self-abandon, but actually lose respect for ourselves and from others? Do you see what I'm saying? If I have a mask, it's not so much that people, don't get confused not being attacked with being liked. Don't confuse not being attacked with being liked. Just because somebody isn't attacking you doesn't mean that they actually like you. Maybe it just means that they tolerate you, even though they, on some level, can see that you're being polite in order to, or kind in order to feel accepted, or avoid conflict or confrontation, or even some discomfort. Being shameless in projecting your true personality, your core self, for me has a lot to do with my own personal values. And if you don't know, if you can't name, or if you're just not in the practice of refining what your values are, what helped me was asking myself and being asked by my coaches and peers, what do you do despite its inconvenience? What do you do despite its inconvenience, for good or bad? Right? People smoke weed even though it costs a lot, or it takes up money. It gets us into a state of numbing our emotions, which is different from healing them. And I used to smoke weed a lot. But, or, drinking or getting out of bed in the morning, right? That's, for me, that's super inconvenient to get out of bed in the morning. I used to, sleep until 10 to noon every day. But that was also inconvenient because I just had less hours in the day to, do things outside of the bare minimum, outside of my comfort zone. Now I'm getting up at like 5, 6 a.m. every single day, and I have a lot more space and time to work on art, do spiritual healings, do these videos, go to class, and learn HVAC right now, do day trading. Or the average millionaire write some fucking short stories just for the fuck of it, or journal, or meditate. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. Right now I'm up to like 4. And before I was up to, just the one, which was disability from my time in the Marine Corps Infantry. And that was one way to live, but what really upset me was that it wasn't to my highest potential. And I was numbing that with weed. I was numbing the part of me that knew I could be doing so much more with weed. I was escaping and avoiding. I think weed really helps people who are not avoidant types. Yeah. Yeah. But just to bring it back full circle, what would you like? We choose our suffering. We choose our discomforts. Right now, nice guys, nice women, people pleasers are choosing the discomfort of being disconnected from themselves, of not having their core wants and needs met, being seen, being heard, being loved for who they truly are, not for the mask. They're choosing the suffering of not getting to know like who the fuck they are and loving that person even if nobody else does. They're choosing that suffering over the suffering of facing rejection, of for sure, like one of the biggest things that I faced when I was like coming into myself was, okay, like the people around me are gonna be uncomfortable because they're used to a certain, like me being a certain kind of way, and now they have to adjust. And that's the big, like that's probably the scariest thing, is the fear of losing those who you've become accustomed to being around. Not the people you love, but the people that you're used to being around. There's a fear of losing them in being yourself. On the other side of that is faith. Faith that either, like whatever Dr. Seuss said, I know he was like outed as like racist or something, but he said some real shit, which is like, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Whoever minds who you truly are doesn't fucking matter. And whoever doesn't give a shit about like you being you, or embraces it and supports it, well, that's somebody who fucking matters. I hope you can be yourself. This is something I've like probably would have like want to tell my younger self, even though he wouldn't get it because there was so much shit in the way. But I hope you can be yourself. I hope you can be shameless in the projection of your personality, in the pursuit of your wants and needs, of being seen, being heard, and being loved, being supported. We don't have to like each other, but we should be able to get along. And I feel like that only becomes really complicated when we're not really being ourselves. Yep.